Astoria, there was this tale that one of the strippers there had one leg, right? Because Astoria is like a crusty town.
Women?
Yarr.
Want me to strip for you, matey?
I know. I can't strip. I got the scurvy.
Here comes Leg Peggy taking the stage.
Welcome back to Just Weirdly Blended. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tom.
And it's Sunday morning.
Yeah, a nice, cold, blistery,
freezing,
frigid.
I'm wearing shorts, but still,
Sunday
it's
morning.
cold.
Yeah, woke up again today, and it was like spitting. I don't know what. It wasn't snow. It wasn't rain. It wasn't even sleet.
I was going to say, was it the little, like, frozen fog?
Yeah, maybe.
It was on my windshield.
It was just really, really light, but also very hard, you know.
Hey, it's early.
I wasn't having fun with that.
No.
Oh, yeah. So we had a huge windstorm not that long ago, right?
Yes.
And I thought, okay, we lost some shingles outside that. We were fine. I was out here by the little house yesterday, and I looked back, and we have that like tent carport structure thing.
Oh, the one, on the side of it, right over here.
Yeah, that we have the riding mower in and all that. Yeah. And I look and I notice that it's this really weird angle. I'm like, oh my Lord, it must have been picked up by the wind and just tossed around or something. It wasn't. A limb fell off and crushed the whole thing and somehow missed the lawnmower and missed the house. I mean, there's like a 3-foot window it could have fallen in. To not break something badly.
Is it a fatty branch too?
Oh yeah, I mean we're talking.
That tree is kind of deadish looking.
It's not really.
It's not. Is it that just style tree though?
It's the one. It's the pine looking tree.
Yeah, it's that like. Yeah. I see. There's a tree up the street on my way here that I've always thought it looked like it was going to be dead, but it's like not. It's like a huge tree, but it's just the look of it looks like real dry and like decrepit, but. That's what that tree reminds me of.
It's a piece of shit tree. No, it lost this huge limb. So
it's shedding its skin, man.
Man, welcome back to the Weather Channel. We're talking real weather stuff. That was luck, though. I was like, man, that could have crushed the roof.
No, for reals. That'd be scary. Well, the other day there's a house up the street that caught fire.
Yeah,
like we don't know what it was, like in the attic or if it was like because. If you look on the roof, you can see smoke coming out the little like vents that are up there, or you can see smoke. You can see where smoke came out,
smoke residue or whatever. Yeah.
Now was that in the ceiling or what? It could be, maybe it bust through the ceiling and then the fire was up. But in like outside, it doesn't look like anything's.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks fine. So I'm guessing something inside caught fire.
Maybe. Yeah.
But it was crazy. There was a heck of cars, and our neighborhood's not, there's not action ever. So when you see like cop cars,
everybody's out.
Everyone's like,
all the people peeping.
We looked out the window and then we kind of stepped outside. And I was like, nah, fuck this. This is fucking cold.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they were okay because I went to work the next morning.
I'm over this.
Yeah, I was over it quick. I went to work the next morning and the fire trucks were still there. And
really?
Yeah. They were. I think they were just probably talking. But the homeowners, I seen them, and I was like, "Okay, Santa, you're good."
Oh, that's good.
That's where Santa lives during the off season.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's a long haul. He's a pilot car.
Mm-hmm.
He drives pilot cars.
Smart move for Santa. I mean,
that's his business too.
Yeah. Nice.
It's like his business.
Yeah.
So he just follows trucks. God, how easy is that? Do you think it's that easy? Do you think that's an easy job where you just follow a truck that's oversized?
I think it'd be a lot of fun. I don't know. I'm probably not.
Actually,
over time, I'll bet it wears on you quite a bit. But
yeah, because do you like driving slow?
No,
I hate it.
Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare.
I was driving to go get JJ yesterday because I went to go get my hair did, and so I'm going to go pick up JJ from Elliot's basketball game, and there's this car in front of me because I'm like, okay, I got to get there. 1:48 is my appointment. Like, there's this car going so slow. I was like, bro, I was getting so annoyed.
Yeah,
I was like, come on. Like it gets to the point where I want to just like go in the middle lane
Right.
and pass them,
Right.
but it's illegal.
Yeah, right. There's that. But no,
God.
what I hate is when someone like flies out in front of you and
Yeah.
then they slow down
Mm.
to like 5 or 10 degrees
Yeah.
below the speed limit.
Yeah. No, that would piss me off. That does piss me off.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
So, not that
like,
I've probably done it sometimes, but I go the speed limit at least.
I go like on the highway, I do 75. I'll just set it on cruise control. So when I go to Oregon this weekend or today after,
Right.
like I'm going to leave around 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'll just do. Pop it in and cruise and
Nice.
just let the road take me.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy.
I just hope it's so Oregon. So over here in the Northwest, we got snow.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Spokane Wednesday. There was a snow there.
Yeah.
And here it snowed like.
It's not bad here, really.
Yeah, it's dust.
But still, some snow, which is
it's like if you dropped
the season, but
fucking powdered sugar on the floor, just a little bit.
They took the sifter thing and just sprinkled it evenly on everything.
Yeah.
It was odd. Yeah,
but they spilt the entire bag in Oregon.
Right.
Portland got
dumped on, right?
Yeah. So I'm going there. So
no, it's supposed to have rained since then.
It's supposed to rain all week the whole time I'm there.
So hopefully it's like melting all that away, but.
And then the weather's supposed to be pretty, not warm, but like not freezing.
Decent.
Because I was like, well, it's going to rain. Fuck ice.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right.
Like, fuck that. Ice, I rather drive in snow.
Yeah.
Ice is terrible.
Yeah. Ice is not fun. That's for sure.
But yeah. So yeah, I'll be in Oregon for work all week. So I'll be working on podcast stuff. I got nothing to do. You know, I'm too old now.
Yeah.
To like after... You know, in my 20s or, you know, whatever, like I'd probably go out, maybe go check a club out after the job, go to the bar. I can't do that now.
We get to a certain point.
And then I'm, like, you know, back and with my job now, I'm by myself. So I'm definitely never going to do it. I wouldn't have done that shit in my 20s.
I wouldn't have either. No, I don't need new people in my life.
Yeah, I went to the movies once.
Yeah.
By myself.
Yeah.
Weirdest.
I'll bet. It's like eating dinner by yourself at a restaurant. Like you're just sitting in the corner, like I'm not weird.
That like when I got my hair done, the hair lady, she was going in about her relationship and she was having issues and all this stuff, and then somehow that got brought up. She went and had lunch by herself.
Oh,
and you know that's like a weird feeling, right?
Yeah, it is.
And I was like, yeah. I went to the movies by myself once, and it is similar.
Yeah.
I go, you know, at least in the movies it's dark. So
right.
You don't feel as much of a loser.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But in the...
People aren't because if you're by yourself eating, it's like you got stood up, I think.
Right.
Like, hey, are they going to be here soon?
Right.
Like, no, they're not. Because I'm below.
Yeah. I'm waiting for you to serve me.
I'm waiting for my soulmate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just thought...
I know. Can you hurry up? Come on, Red Robin.
Loser, but all right, you're alone, so...
Yeah. You're a big loser then. But yeah, by the movies, like you laugh, like you see a funny part, and you're like, ha 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 ha, and you go to look,
and turn, and there's no one there, and
you're
it's
like,
sad.
Yeah, you break down and cry. You just have a meltdown in the theater, sobbing at the funniest movie.
Yeah. Well, and like you're saying to be out somewhere in a different town, like there's not a lot you can do. You're not going to go to a club because all you're really going to do is get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Like what good is going to come out of doing that?
Nothing.
Best case scenario, you waste like an hour and go, this sucks, and goes home.
Yeah. So like, there's guys that they'll go to the strip club, right?
Just by themselves. Talk about sad.
That's so sad. Like, I mean, I'm married now, but even when I wasn't married, and like the short period of time that I was single, strip clubs just never did it for me.
No, me either. When Blanc and I were dating, there was one time she wanted to go. This is like a novelty thing.
Fine.
And we went, and I remember like even then I was just like, I don't really get it. And there's people there that are like seriously there.
Oh no,
not just stupid there, like really there for the experience. And I don't know. Even if I were like desperately alone, that wouldn't be the solution.
I feel creepy.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like
like dirty.
And it's like for me, it was very like mechanical.
Dirty little
like,
bitch.
Well, you're here. I better put $1 out because I don't really know the etiquette. But apparently,
I didn't even waste money. I was like, fuck no.
It's just I don't No.
No,
Yeah, there's something very odd about it.
I went the first time I went was in Astoria.
Mm.
Went to a strip club. That was weird.
Yeah.
I was wasted in Astoria. There was this tale that one of the strippers there had one leg, right? Because Astoria is like a
Are they all
coasty
pirate
town.
women?
Yarr.
Want me to strip for you, matey?
I know. I can't strip. I got the scurvy.
Here comes Leg Peggy taking the stage.
Up next. Peg Leg Peggy. Man. If there's not a stripper out there named Peg Leg Peggy, there needs to be.
Henrietta Hooker, she's got the hook.
Yeah. Tickle your butthole with that.
Henrietta, what a sexy name.
I know.
It's Henrietta Hooker and Peg Leg Peggy.
Peggy, those names are pretty old.
Yeah. Well, they're all pirate women. They don't.
I know. She's been a fucking stripper since the 20s.
Yeah, right. The sea shanty.
But yeah, there was that the she's. But there was that rumor that go around, and I just thought I always found it funny, and I knew it was probably not true. But it was so funny that I wished it was.
If there was a stripper with a peg leg, though, she probably would be there forever. Like, what else are you going to do?
Well, if there was a strip there with peg leg, I would have went to that strip club a lot more.
Sure.
Because just to see that.
Just to watch her walk around sexy.
Just to hear that noise.
Right? Could she spin better on the peg leg?
Whoo, probably.
Right? Just like,
does she use the peg leg as a
grab
prop?
something on the ceiling that's like a pivot?
She doesn't use a fake leg. She uses a real like wooden leg,
like Pinocchio, with a wooden joint and everything. Yeah, that'd be funny.
But no, I know strip clubs they're creepy.
I don't know. I'm not
that one, it was just like this. It was like this. It was like a little area. There's a table, right, and then off to the side was just the opening to the floor was right there where the strippers. There wasn't like a stage. It was all one level, right?
So your table was above where.
So basically, I'd sit here and I could watch the stripper on the other side
of the table.
Yeah, on the other side.
There's a dance floor.
Yeah, I say a table, but it was probably walled off a little bit.
Okay,
but it was still. It looked like a kitchen. That's what a guy reminded me of, like the kitchen. Like, hey, I need some steak on aisle 3 or table 3, and then they handed in on that table, and then the kitchen staff's like, it's like if you're watching the kitchen staff, but it was dumb,
like a window in the wall.
Yeah, that's how it reminded me of.
Sitting there,
but a big window,
through.
But like,
wow,
where they would go, there was just like a door opening, just an opening. There was no door.
Like you'd see them walk in. I imagine that it was like, I'm here for my shift, and then they open the door and walk in.
Yeah,
suddenly they're
so
performing.
They'd go right there, they'd walk, and then they'd come out to walk around and probably get do lap dances or something. But I was drunk, and I'd seen some people there that I recognized from when I was at Job Corps. So then I started talking to them. Drunk me, very talkative guy,
right.
And then I threw up on the entry table.
That happens.
I threw up on the floor, the entry floor, and then I got kicked out. So,
and then they made Peggy go clean it up.
Peggy, get your mop.
She's got the Swiffer connection. Golly,
that'd be awesome.
That was she.
Mop lady.
They keep her around. Sharon's a keep. Peg Leg Peggy.
Let's do it.
Oh man.
But
the she shanty.
But that's doing stuff by yourself is very, when you think about it, it's sad, but it's also can be, I guess, liberating a little bit.
Sure.
Like
well, I think now with cell
yourself.
phones, like you can feel less awkward because you just make it clear that you're looking on your phone. It's just the problem with the phone is like no matter what, you only have so much to look up.
Yeah.
So then you end up with those weird moments where you're like, well, I've seen everything, and you put the phone down, then you're like, well, this is very awkward. Well, so you pick it back up and try to think of other things to look at.
Do you ever go and like you guys get food?
Yeah.
And then you're going to pick up the food, but you're by yourself, right? And so there's that period of time where you're waiting for them to get the food and whatever.
Yeah, the worst time.
Yeah. So that's how I picture eating by yourself is because I'll sit at the table. Like the other day, I went to go get me a a burger. Friday, I went to this place to get a burger. I wanted something different. Anyway, it was in Zilla. So I went. I got me and one of my techs, Rosie. I got her a burger as well. So I'm sitting there waiting, and it's a pretty busy spot actually for being Zilla. Which, if you guys don't know, Zilla's there's
Very
not much
small.
there.
Nope.
It's like the backyard. That's about it. Very small.
Yeah.
But there's this place there, and yeah, I was waiting, and I was just sitting at the table by myself. Looked on my phone, like you said, a couple times, because the phone, it makes it so you don't do eye contact.
Right.
Even if you're eating by yourself, you're just like, no.
Yeah.
Don't want no one to look.
Yeah.
Hope no one's watching.
It's the signal. Leave me alone. I'm not interested.
It's almost like your safe space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel safe, secure, warm.
Well, no, I'm thinking so, though.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, where you get on there.
Absolutely, you're right.
And all of a sudden, just there's nothing going on around you.
Yeah.
Fucking almost knocked
It's a security blanket.
Yeah. So, that's all we have for you guys today. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks
15 minutes.
No, but you were talking about relationships and cycles in relationships.
Yeah, that got brought up during my haircut. The barber person will talk to you as they do, even if you don't want it. Yeah. Mine, she just happens to be very a little talkative. And she had explained her situation in the past to me, and it wasn't something I could forget. Not because I was just like listening very attentively, but her and her husband lived in separate houses. Can't forget that.
Right.
And I remember I think I had brought that up to you at one time. And we kind of like, well, there must be trouble in paradise. Well, I guess there was.
Spoiler alert. Things weren't
Shocker. Right. But no, then there was, obviously. But no one ever wants to disclose that. So
right.
I'm not making fun of the lady for it.
No.
But yeah, she started talking about like, what her situation was, and that he's gonna promise. She already knows he's gonna promise I'm gonna quit doing drinking. I'm gonna quit going out, and I'm gonna quit doing these things. I want you back, But I kind of brought up to her like, yeah, because you can tell she wouldn't want him back. I was like, yes, if how many times has he said that to you before? Right. In a sense, right? How many times has that happened where it's like, yeah, I'm never gonna do that again, baby.
Right.
I love you. I don't want things to happen. And sure enough, who knows when it is, but it's gonna happen like a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road. That pattern, that cycle, it's gonna kick in, because the way I look at things, and it's not necessarily that's their pattern for life, and that's their pattern with that person. You know what I mean? Because that person is their security blanket, and that person's allowing them to come back and come on back, come on back. And so after a while, it's like, well, I'll be good for a bit. She kind of make her feel comfortable. Then I'll do my thing.
Right.
Because she'll just take me back anyway.
Well, and I think
you know what I mean? I think that's what they think.
Behavior is so neural pathway oriented too. Like, even if they were like, no, seriously, this time's going to be different. I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different.
Yeah.
Like, you can make that happen, but it's not easy.
You can.
If you've trained your brain to follow certain patterns, you have to. I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard to do with anything in life. So, bad behaviors, you have to catch yourself doing it in those little incremental stages,
you have to notice what triggers that thought.
Like,
really,
okay,
too.
I'm not going to cheat anymore, and I'm not going to go out and drink. Yeah. Well, my friend just called him. He wants to go drink. We're just going to go drink, but
we're just going to have a beer. Yeah, I can honestly say I've said that.
And then the beer becomes 2 beers, and then it's like, well, the next thing you know, you're banging Leg Peggy out behind the she shanty.
At the she shanty.
And what the hell?
There you go. And you got scurvy.
Yeah, I mean.
But no, that's true, though. That's like. So, you don't want that. You don't want that on conscience.
Don't beg. Leg Peggy.
Why do you have splinters in your ass? Well, peg leg.
Yeah. I'm into some weird shit, honey. I don't know.
Leave me alone.
It's no, but I mean,
you're right though. There's that pattern, and you got to notice that pattern to break that pattern, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, so for me, like, I'm narcissistic apparently now because I'm bringing it back to me. No, I'm not. I don't think. But just in my, I'm trying to not drink for a year, right?
Yeah.
That's my goal. And there's been moments so far. It's been a lot easier than I expected.
Good. Yeah.
Obviously, I had tried to slow down,
Mm-hmm.
started picking up again, but there's been moments though where it's like, God,
Right.
I'll see someone drink a beer or I'm doing something that typically I would drink, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I was doing my yard. That's usually a big one, right?
Sure. Right.
And I'm not drinking like heavily when I do that,
Right.
but trying not to drink.
Just a cold beer.
Because I can feel myself like, oh, I want that. Right. And then so now I have to like trick my brain into wanting something different or
like
doing something different.
Therapy. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that part, I can see why like people just fall in those cycles because it could just happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And sometimes without you even, it's not even that direct. It's those little tiny stages where you have the impetus to do it.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have something else that you're putting in place, actually this morning, so I sometimes will watch CBS Sunday Morning, if anyone ever watches that. They have a lot of little like stories, and it's usually a little more on the positive note. I guess
that's good.
Like I don't know. I feel like it's something my grandmother would have watched.
See, they need more positive.
Yeah, I mean, it's typically pretty like just light-hearted stuff, but they did a story about Baltimore, and there's this group, and I can't remember their name. I just watched it like an hour ago, but there's this group of guys that pretty much are on the streets looking for people that are getting involved in the criminal life.
Oh, okay.
And they're rooted in cognitive behavioral therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what that all is looking for patterns and
trying to figure out
altering the patterns, teaching ways of doing things differently. But it was really interesting because they're getting these guys that are drug dealers and, essentially murderers.
Yeah.
And they're getting them in this program and teaching them how to not do that anymore. And the amount of time it takes to retrain your brain and to replace those triggers and just the reaction.
That'd be a hard lifestyle to like escape.
It would. Pressure-wise, your own pressure and
sometimes those like you can't get out.
Some people won't let you out.
Yeah, exactly.
And in this case, nobody really brought that angle up. It was just more.
But 3 guys from that show are missing.
Yeah. By the end of it, nobody was in the segment. It was really weird.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was pretty cool, but it shows you like, changing behavior takes a very long time.
It does.
It's not something that happens overnight. And even, we talked about it with working out. I'm at the point now where I'm backsliding, even though I'm trying not to. Like I can feel
it. But you can see it.
The last few times I've gone to work out, I just am not feeling it. I'm not getting any kind of.
And I think that's normal too.
And I think it is, and you got to kind of keep fighting through that. But it's a lot harder when it's not giving you anything back.
It's tough because
or you don't see. I know I'm getting something back, but you don't.
You don't see it. It's not like an instant gratification where you're just like, oh yeah, there it is. Like, because no, you're right, because I started doing the same thing. Like this last week was a little tougher, but I hadn't worked out really this week like I normally do, and luckily I was going because I noticed that my eating patterns were were falling back. I was starting to find myself in the fridge later than normal. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I'm like, and then I was like, okay. I started noticing that, so that was my pattern where I was like, okay, maybe I need to stop doing that.
Yeah, right.
And so I had to like notice that and break it off because. Like you said, those patterns, sometimes you just fall back into them. You don't even know. It could be, and you could be good for months. 8 months. And then just, who knows, just something happens or whatever.
Right. Well, I mean, think about it like this. You have a rough day at work. You haven't had a beer in a long time. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to have a beer. And you have years of that pattern of I'm stressed, I'm tired, I reward myself with a beer. Well, it's going to pick right back up again.
Well, yeah, because you're like for me, it's a nice day outside. I'm going to mow the yard. I'm going to do some projects around the house. I want a beer because that's what I do, because that's what I like,
I associate those two things. Yeah.
So when it's warm out, beer sounds good. Right. Cold beer, bad.
Dark beer, good.
Whiskey, good.
Yum, yum in my tummy.
So I know that's going to happen, and I'm ready for that because I know how I'm going to react when that happens because I've seen it already. And it wasn't even warm. It was just a beautiful day. It was before the whole windstorm and shit.
Yeah.
It was that calm before that shit went down. But I know there's going to be situations for me that are going to come up that are going to be a little tough. We're going to try to go to Utah this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be tough because my buddy Bucket, he drinks, and then he's not an alcoholic or anything, but he's very good at maintaining, I know what I'm drinking, he's good at that. Me, I'm not. I'm drunk. I want more.
Right. I gotcha.
And so to tell him no is going to be that's going to be tough, I think, for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a situation where it's like that peer pressure, and it's not him pressuring me because he wouldn't do that.
It's you on some level wanting to be able to do that.
Yeah, because that's what me and him, we hang out, we have a drink, we have fun, we play cards, that's what we do.
Right.
Well,
and the thing too is alcohol is a social lubricant, they say, right? It does kind of fill the void of anything, I don't know. And luckily with Bucket, it's not a situation where you're awkward or feel, but there's a lot of times, I know at least for me, I would use alcohol to feel comfortable going and being
100%. I use that.
That's not good because again, you're reinforcing patterns that then you have to break later.
I need to get fucking shit faced and then I'll feel good.
Then I'll be able to do this.
Was it the girls' dad, Leo? He came over a few weeks back and he brought beer. And because, obviously me and him don't hang out the way you and I do.
Right.
And so it was, obviously for him, I'm sure it was going to be awkward. And for me, I think I'm over that awkward stage with him. But it's always nice to have that drink because it does loosen you up. Because I noticed there was a few times where I was just I was just like this, just quiet. I didn't care to talk. And that's where I'm for me, I can not do that. And it's not like I'm being rude. It's rude because it's, you're not interacting. You're interacting.
But you just have those moments where it's I don't really have anything to say.
I could be in the living room by myself while there's people at the house. And I'd be okay being alone with myself, but obviously I don't do that because that's, bad manners or whatever. But
is it? No.
But that, I could find myself, I found myself in that moment though, where I'd get quiet and stuff. So I'd get up, or I'd go do something because I have to keep busy. Because that's for me right now, for the drinking thing. In my dull moments, my thing is keep busy.
Right.
So I'll get up and I'll go do something, clean dishes.
Yeah. You're replacing the behavior. Yeah. Something else.
Working out.
Yeah. Look at all all the payoff here.
Hey, sometimes
you know what?
I feel good though.
I do too.
I still feel good.
It's way better than
there's that pattern. So I kind of going back to the situation, I kind of told her that, that is he going to change? How many times is it? Is that something he does? I didn't really get a good answer from that. My feeling is I think she'll stay away because she's 40, I think, something like that, 30 something. But then also I don't know how many times has that happened.
But that's a behavioral pattern too.
Yeah,
on the side of the
person
that gets cheated on.
It's because I think we can make this work.
Well, and I think there really is a weird. You almost get addicted to the pattern of that, get the build up and then the letdown. The negative emotion is just as much a part of it as the positive. It's the extremes of the whole thing.
Yeah.
They become addictive in a sense.
Well, you know how they say, couples fight. It's good for them to.
Right.
It's good for a couple to have an argument and stuff. That's normal.
Right.
Right. So I wonder if that's that replacement. You know what I mean? Instead of communicating and being open and trying to figure it out. Yeah. Their communication is okay, I'm going to cheat on you. I'm going to drink and we're going to fucking scream at each other.
Right.
Instead of being hey, I've been feeling this type of way. I kind of, for me, I found my thing was my love language is touch kind of thing. I found that. And so I was able to communicate that with my wife kind of thing. Not that I cheated on her, but you know what I mean? That was my communication and I started feeling better. So there's got to be those moments where I think as a person, you got to grow and just be hey, you know what? the reason I be acting stupid is because I kind of need this.
Right. Become more aware of
your needs, because
right.
And I'm not saying that's how it is for everyone, but like you have your needs, you know, whether it's physical, like emotional, whatever it is. There's those needs that sometimes don't get communicated in relationships that need to get communicated. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because, you know, you ain't going to know. Like you tell the kids, you're not going to know unless you tell me. You know, you're not going to know the answer.
Right. Right.
You can assume all you want that you know, and you know how dad's going to respond. But one day dad might say, hell yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You got to ask.
Let's go watch Cocaine Bear. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I want to see that so bad.
Yeah, I heard it's good. Did you? Okay.
I heard from a friend of like me and my buddy Nick. Yeah. He said he went to go see it and he said he liked it.
Okay. I read a really bad review,
gonna be
but I'm
bad.
like, I know. This guy made it sound like they even missed the mark on that. But I'm with Ray Liotta, it's his last film, I think, that he was in. So I'm like, I don't know. You can't.
Does the bear ingest coke? Yeah. Okay. Premise done.
Right. Does it need to be good? No,
it's not gonna. It's over the top. It's a bear on coke.
It's a bear on
ripping
coke.
people apart.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, anyway, sorry to go off the rails on that one.
A bit, but no, you know, that's the thing that's tricky though in those scenarios. Like if you take somebody back that is actively cheating, and if they just cheated on you, they're actively cheating.
Yeah.
You are condoning the behavior again and repeating the cycle again. Well, exactly. They're reinforced that there really is no consequence for it.
Just like kids.
The impetus to change isn't there.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. I mean, you can work with a lot of different things with those big behaviors. It's like sometimes you just have to cut your losses and move on.
Well, that's what I think, because something I always, and I'm not the one who invented this saying or anything, because I'm making it up, I guess, but I'm making it up, so I did invent it. I don't think people change, right?
Yeah.
I think, and I don't mean that in the sense where you go to like, you just never change. Like with certain people, you don't change because of that pattern, right?
Sure.
So if I was with someone else and I was a cheater with that person,
you might go back to it.
Yeah, I might cheat all the time still, right? Yeah, you'd go back to
because
it, right?
You know this person will put up with it, this person won't.
Yeah. So then,
right?
You know, like a different situation, it's like, okay, there's, you know, I wouldn't do that. Like, I don't know. It's just you change you change for that person,
right?
In a way, right?
Right.
Some people make you change, I guess, in a way. So I guess you do change,
right?
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, but you look at like scenarios where somebody was like seriously abusive, and they look for a certain type of person to be with because they can be the abuser, and it's not like they set out to do it. It's just it's so pattern ingrained that they do it. They find certain people that will let it happen. I'm not saying it like it's their fault. I'm just saying the personality type that maybe won't fight back.
Yeah.
Because if they got with the girl that right away was going to smack him with a frying pan and say, don't ever fucking touch me again, they'd probably be like, well, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And so they end up with somebody that will be that victim role where they're being, you know, the asshole role.
Yeah.
And patterns, man, patterns.
That's what it is. And I guess that's what I mean by like the change thing. People don't change.
Right.
It's the people around you that help you change.
Circumstances can make things different.
Yeah.
I think people can change, but it's a lot of work. I mean, for me, the things that I've worked on for myself, I'm still not.
My idea that I used to have about how people don't change changed. Right. As I got older, like, no, because when I was younger, that's just how I viewed things.
Right.
No one changes. Everyone's the same.
Don't trust anybody.
Yeah. Like it was like that. Like you know, have you guard up, like whatever. Don't expect anything because, you know, and that's something I still kind of live by is like, don't expect, because it's just setting yourself for failure,
right?
Which isn't a good thing to live by, because obviously, you know, you're going to fail in life.
Right.
You just, you know, you got to learn from it. But, yeah. So as I got older, I noticed, okay, I changed my behavioral patterns with things. And so, you know,
right.
So people do change a little bit.
But like you're saying, if you're with somebody where things have been different, would you not fall back into the same?
Probably. You probably would.
You'd establish with that.
Because it's just like, that's just that habit you just know.
Your brain, whether you realize it or not, has learned that this is sort of the place that I'm at here in this scenario. So, yeah. It's tough. It's
Hell
tough.
yeah, it is.
And that's, and when you're a family with kids and stuff, and it's harder to deal with that. I mean, it gets really complicated,
dude.
So
I was listening to this podcast, Other People's Lives, right? I've mentioned before. It's a great podcast because it talks about other people's lives, but it talks about like stuff you don't hear typically. Maybe different people who have fetishes, whatever. But there's one where the girl is like with a guy, and come to find out, basically he wasn't the guy she thought. Like name, everything, she knew nothing.
Like a whole different identity.
Yeah, come to find out, the guy had like a family, and all that stuff. And that to me is a wild, because it's like how,
right?
Like how do you do that? Like,
right?
Not that I want to do that. I actually want to know how you fucking do
take notes on this.
You know what I mean, though? Like, how do you have that energy to do
Wasn't
that?
one family hard enough to like?
Yeah, well, you'll hear those stories where the guy had like 2 families.
Yeah, right.
And they don't know about each other. It's like, how?
Yeah.
How do you like know that?
Yeah, Blanc and I were watching a show the other night where this gal talked about this guy she was with, and he worked nights. When he worked nights, he was at the girl's house.
Yeah.
And when he worked days, he was at the wife's house.
See, that's wild. Like, how do you have that energy and like?
Well, yeah, and you're not working, so like, how are you?
How are you surviving?
I don't know.
Supplying stuff to your family.
It's a rich man's game.
Maybe
like, you must have the money to make that work.
But I've always wondered, like that seems like very. That's why it's just too much energy. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm too old. I can't do that.
Right.
Even if I wanted to, I wouldn't.
Particular like
it's
psychological condition that would make that. It's like a very narcissistic thing to do.
Like, oh yeah, I pulled it off.
And like to keep it up. Like at some point you'd be like,
that's what medicine's for.
You think you're with the wrong person and say like, hey, Darlene, or like, hey,
our dude
Peggy.
Leg Peggy, come here. Where you been my whole life? Fucking that. Hey, this is where I give kudos to like those guys that are in like polyamorous like relationships. Like, was it sister wives and shit? Because he's probably straight up saying like, hey, you know what?
Well, I think that
this is my pattern,
apart, isn't it? Like,
maybe, but like at least he's honest and he's just like, hey,
right.
I want another lady in our life, and the lady's like, all right, cool.
Makes it easier on me, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if I can deal with that. But I think you have to be pretty mentally tough to deal with multiple wives or multiple husbands.
Yeah,
brother husbands.
Right.
Is that show coming to
Not
TLC?
much of a thing, but I'll bet someday it'll be out there.
Brother husbands.
No,
were we just talking about that?
Yeah, I don't think it's sustainable, honestly. I mean, like this family that has been on for years, they're essentially breaking up. I think he only has one wife left.
Damn, he had like 15.
Right.
What, he had 7 or 5 or something?
I don't know. Nothing against you. If that's how you live and it works, that's great. But it seems like a very difficult thing when really another person demands most of your attention. One other person.
Yeah.
There's no way, husband or wife, that it's healthy when you have to schedule out when that person can have a need.
Peggy, you get Thursdays. You know that.
Right. You should be working
Fridays
at the club the other night.
Yeah. Fridays, Wednesdays, ladies' night, so you gotta be there.
You think that peg leg pays for itself?
That's premium oak.
Captain Joe has to make those from scratch.
Yeah. His lathe isn't working great, so you need to really...
We need a new lathe for that leg. I don't know. I'm not a great husband to one person. So
can you imagine not being a great husband to 5?
And those moments where you just don't feel like you have it in you to be any better, and you go from like place to place, just getting like told how poorly you're doing.
That would fuck with my self-esteem hard.
Yeah, right?
It's like, damn, I must be a piece of shit if wife 1 and 2 and 3 are fucking talking shit.
They're all saying I'm garbage.
Like, I must be garbage.
Yeah.
Which you must be garbage.
You must be.
You must literally be garbage.
But how are you not going to be if you have so many people that
Why don't you pay attention to me? Well, maybe because Peggy fucking takes up half my time.
She's crying a lot lately. I don't know why.
She's having daddy issues.
But I mean, seriously, try to call the one wife and be like, hey, honey, I know it's your night. but Peg Leg over here is really emotional and she needs me.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, she might say in the moment, "Oh yeah, no, that's fine."
So this is my question.
How is that not going to play?
And this might be sexist. If the situations were reversed, where one-legged Larry was fucking, he was having his emotional breakdown, and it was fucking Martin's day.
Yeah.
Would the guy be more understanding though? You know, like, because you know, girls are like, no, fuck her, fuck that bitch, you know, like whatever. Do you think the guy'd be like, no, it's cool, you know, like whatever?
I think it really depends on how close they are.
You know,
I think if you felt like a real brotherhood,
I'll reach out to Larry. How about you just go rest? I'm gonna go hang out with Larry. That's probably how it'd be.
I don't know, and I'm sexist. I'm just gonna say it, like not on purpose, just growing up the era I did.
Well, I don't think you're sexist. I view
things in a more traditional way. I see men and women as thinking a little differently about things.
I think guys would be more open to it than a girl would.
For me,
that's just my thought.
I feel that if we're gonna work, and please forgive me for saying this, but just in all honesty, the men would have to be more like brothers and view her as not an emotional attachment.
Oh no, 100%. I think that's
kind of be willing to kind of.
She's our sex toy.
For lack of a better term, pass her around.
Yeah.
For not having feelings come up that would destroy everything.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say that, but like for me, I'm a monogamous person.
Yeah.
Like I can't even imagine that,
like having that.
So you know, if that,
no, I agree with you, because if I was to have that, that's how it would have to be.
There's no way that you could deal with, like, whereas sister wives are sisters and they accept that they're, and I mean, women probably feel the same way.
You're my piece.
But it's like they're not necessarily objectifying him the way that they portray it, at least in that show.
I do think you could have love for more than one person, but I don't think you can have, like, so if you had like one more person, I can see that there could be like a cohesiveness with three, right?
Right. But well, then I guess if like you were bisexual or something.
Once you get like more than that, I feel like that's tough emotionally be available all the time. Well, because you got to deal with your own emotions.
Look at work. Like, look at relationships at work. Just normal, like, not even relationships, just like working with people.
They're friends until they leave.
The larger the group of people that have to coexist, the harder it gets.
Oh yeah,
because this person doesn't work with this person, or like, you know, there's just like there's got to be a limit where it's like eventually you can't like, oops, you know, you can't kind of move those chips where they need to be.
You know, that's true. Like, so there was this movie we were watching, and then it reminded me of an actor from another movie that I thought looked similar to him, and the movie's Savages, right? In that movie, it's these two guys that are with the same girl. They share the same girl, but they both equally love her, like to death. One's more, but for her, the way she explains it is, this guy, when I'm with him, is like my protector. He feels very, I guess, that's the term that's been going around, alpha. Right. Okay. And he's, you know, he's physical, you know, he
I feel like I've seen this movie.
You have. It's actually a fantastic movie. Yeah. He fucks her, right? Well, the other guy's more the like emotionally available one. He makes love to her. So like she has the best of both worlds. And that's how I could see that working in a sense, because and then they get along. And then those guys get along the way they are, because she goes missing and they're like, nah, fuck that, let's get her back. Because one guy's ex-military, he's like, nah, we're going. Yeah. You know, and so they team up.
Yeah.
Let's get back.
I still don't
fight
see it.
For Peg Leg Peggy.
I missed that wooden leg. I just don't know. I don't see a scenario where three people are sexually involved and no one feels insecure about that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true level, because if you're just with one person, you still feel insecure.
Be told that you're the one that just makes love and can't do the other, or
you can't fuck me the way he does.
You know, I mean, you know, I don't put too much into it, but
No, I get what you're saying.
There's a feeling there that has to come up.
You have to be very secure.
This person's
though.
alpha, implying that you're not alpha.
Yeah, that's not the term, but that's how I pictured it.
But that is. That's essentially what's being said. I would not be in that scenario.
No, I can see how it could work. Like for me, I can visualize. I can see how that could work.
Right.
But also at the same time, like you said, you know, like that emotional.
Right.
You can't be there all the time. Like,
I mean,
you're gonna get insecure.
Could not do it.
No,
a guy like me could not do it.
I have my own insecurities.
I'm sure would be just fine.
Well, that's the thing. I think you got to be very secure with yourself for that to work.
Right.
Very secure. Like if you have an ounce of insecurities, it's not going to work because you're gonna those. That's going to creep in your head, and you're just going to be self-deprecating. Like I'm just,
I have way too many.
A piece of shit. You rather have him, like, and then you drink and you start doing drugs, and you're fucking dead because
all of a sudden you're on the streets. It's vicious cycle.
That's what happened to Peg. Like,
that's why. No, she's got a job. She's on the up.
Well, I know she's on the up and up.
But man,
I want to. I wish I could draw good so I could draw her.
She'd
be older. She'd be 60.
Red curly hair.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Right? Yeah.
She's kind of cute for a 60-year-old.
A little bit used.
You got a nice body, but kind of used looking.
We saw
her wooden legs just like kind of bristled up.
It's got some splinters. But
What'd you see?
Just switching gears here. Elliot had his last basketball game yesterday. So
which we didn't mention was his last game, but JD was over there with the game.
He's grown a lot this year, so it's fun to watch him. And I'm getting some time back. That's nice because 2 practices a week and a game on Saturday.
So, as a parent, I can see that because it's like.
Well, that's one thing where I wonder if like the exercise has become harder because for a long time I was going off of kind of that rush of changing something in your life and like I was just moment to moment doing something, and I'm kind of hitting that wall now. We talked about this months ago. What do you do when this happens? It's happening. Apparently I stopped, but
well, no, I mean, and you're still trying.
No, but it's like, for a long time, I teach this after school program the same days that I had to get Elliot's practice. So I would finish that up. It was about an extra hour after work, finish that up, run home, throw in an exercise, eat something real quick, take him to practice, come home,
fucking pass out.
It's just like, it was one thing after another.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of getting to that point now where it's like I've done that long enough that
it's tiring.
I'm just kind of hitting that wall of I don't.
Well, I think when you're taking on so much, there's got to be a moment where you're like, okay, I need to
reset.
I need to either reset this or reorganize the way I do this.
Right.
And so instead of throwing out like, okay, I know I got to fucking do this and this. That's like I have to do that. I do the after school thing. I got to take them to practice.
Right.
Okay, exercise. Maybe I'll just. Instead of taking Thursdays off, now I'll exercise Thursdays and take Monday, Tuesday off or whatever.
Well, I pretty much did that. I made sure that I still exercise, but I was doing it like 2 days a week instead of doing it the 5 days. But
and then the mental tiredness of dealing with other things,
right? And it's tough. The weather's gotten worse, so I do the weightlifting a lot more. But I don't know. I just have kind of with that. I just like the last time I was doing it. Those times where it feels like gears grinding.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just was not switching it up enough. And regardless, I have to keep going. Like I can't just regress and go back. But it's hitting that point where it's harder. It's not,
it is. Well, because you get
joy of it.
It's so. You know what to expect,
right? And
I'm going there.
Mentally, I'm getting a little lazier, and I'm just like, I just kind of want to veg out a little bit,
Well, that's how I've been feeling.
Yeah.
So I know what that means because it's like
the winter months.
I want to chill. Like there's been times work's been crazy, and there's just been moments where it's like that's how it was for me too, where it's just like I should work out, but I don't want to, and and so there's been times now where I'm just like, you know what, I feel good where I'm at. Fuck it, I'm not gonna work out today because. I just want to chill. I don't ever chill.
Yeah.
That's one thing my wife always tells me, like, just relax.
Right.
Like, because I don't.
Right.
Like yesterday I was going to start like packing, getting things ready.
Yeah.
She's like, come relax with me. I'm like, okay. I didn't do that. But
I know what you mean. There is the anxiety of, well, then I'm not going to have this done. And that's not going to be done. I'm going to be late. And then I'm,
Like
It screws
in
up
my
the
head right
whole
now,
picture.
5 o'clock, I'm leaving.
Right.
Do I need to leave at 5? Probably. I can leave whenever I need to.
Right.
It's not like they're going to give my room away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I need to check in today, but
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm like, so I got to not really think that that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that expect the, whatever.
Expectations versus,
because I don't want to expect to leave at 5 and then I don't, and then I'll be in a pissy mood.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? If I don't leave at 5, I don't fucking leave at 5. That's what I need to think.
Right. It's tough though, because I don't know.
Like, I don't want to drive in the dark.
But then you can also be the opposite side where you're never on time and you don't care about anything. And you just basically shit on other people all the time because your time's. I don't like that either, where it's just like,
it's true.
Who cares if we're late? Well, they care if you're late.
Luckily, I have Alicia, so she cares if she's late. She hates being late for stuff.
Yeah.
Me, I don't like being late, but I don't care if I'm late.
Blanc and I've got.
I care, but I don't care.
On time. We used to be really bad at it, but it's getting better.
Yeah, I remember my mom, and I guess I get that from my mom because we'd go to church and we'd be late.
Oh yeah,
all the time.
You're like at the end of the service, well,
which I'd be so happy if I missed the singing part. I was okay with that.
Yeah,
like the worshiping part,
right?
Which, man, when you think about it, that's wild.
Yeah,
to think about people singing to you, right?
Yeah, the chorus.
Just like worshiping, you're essentially standing in front of God singing like, Jesus, I love you.
Yeah.
Ooh. You know, like,
yeah.
Can you imagine, like, if your kids did that?
To you?
To you. Like, pretty much, essentially, that's what it is.
Like, I'm Jesus.
I'm Jesus. My kids are my disciples, and your kids are like, Jesus, we love you.
I wonder if there's moments where Jesus listens and he's like,
fuck, can you guys stop?
They are not very good.
I gave them... I didn't give you the voice, for a reason. You know, like for a reason.
I gave you.
I don't want to hear you sing to me.
I don't think I need to listen to this.
But then again, like we said, you know,
I
think being a god or something, you got to be a little narcissistic. And
you have to be.
You have to love it. God, do you hear us?
Worship me. I don't know. Yeah, God's a good thing.
He is. God's good.
I don't have any issue with God. I've talked about it before. It's more just like
the church part. There's things I think about. I'm like, God, when you think about it, it's just like, that's kind of wild to think, but whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I almost lost my dog. Switching gears. Almost lost my doggy Rex. We had to take him into emergency room. So he's doing good though.
Yeah, but it wasn't scary for a minute.
He was vomiting, like he'd drink water, vomit. I started thinking, like, does he got parvo?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just drinking, but he's not eating. He's not himself. He's a year old and he's very hyper.
Yeah,
Tom knows.
Busy dog. Yeah,
he does not sit for very long.
No,
when Tom and Blanca come to our house, he goes
nuts.
Psycho. Like he hits Tom in the nuts.
Every time. Yeah, he's like
he's a boxer.
He's a boxer. That's what he does.
Yeah, he sees speed bags, you gotta hit him.
He's gotta go for him.
But so he wasn't himself, so that was pretty sad. It got a little expensive, we'll say. I won't say how much, but it's more than to a point where we're like, we had to take him out of the emergency room because they did all they could, but they were also like, well, we're gonna try this, we're gonna do this. And it's like, you know what?
It's like experimental surgery. At some point, I'm cutting the cord.
Yeah, they had to pull something out of his stomach, and then they had to remove 15 inches of his intestines and then splice them back together. They said, doing the splicing, there's the first week, there's a high risk of like it opening, you know, and then then you're screwed. Basically, if it does that, then it's like, that's it. You're just counting the days for your dog to pass away, kind of thing, is how they pretty much said it. Anyway, we get him back. Well, Alicia goes to pick him up, and she went. This is like I tell you guys, man, we're about that life. Blanca and Alicia go to pick up Rex, and they both were expecting this dog to be just this decrepit, like sad dog. But I guess as soon as he seen him, he was like wagging his tail, just super pumped. Because, you know, like I said, we couldn't afford it anymore. So we're like, we're just going to take him, see what happens, you know.
Right.
because it's not because he was good. He was just what they would say regurgitating.
Well, think about this too: a week in an animal, not just like
imagine being in a week in an emergency room for yourself.
Right. There's a point you can't afford it.
No, there's a point I'm pulling myself out.
Right. I will take myself home to die.
Yeah. But yeah, he was all super excited. And my thing was like, what if he just needs that, like to heal? Like that's going to,
the emotional damage, right?
Yeah. Because a lot of people, when they die, they're just like depressed. And so like they just kind of quit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You might have like,
no, but you hear about like 90-year-olds, right? One dies and within a month, the other one dies.
Yeah.
And it's just because like they got nothing to live for.
Yeah.
So what are they going to hold on for?
And then, so when he seen him, he was like super pumped. So he's been like pretty good. And today I let him out and he had a couple solid little turds. I was pretty excited. For us, it was exciting. He's been very runny.
He's alive.
Which I would expect because, he just had surgery.
Right.
But he's alive. He's hyper as hell. He was jumping up on Blanca yesterday when she dropped off Elliot. He was like, oh, bro, yeah, slow down.
Right. That's what you're worried about is him like tearing it open, right? So.
That's what, yeah. We were just talking about that before we got on here is like, how does he, like, he doesn't know he's fucking got his, intestines ripped out. I just keep picturing like when he jumps, it's just going to, even though like like I said, the intestines are all stuffed in there and stuff, but which got to be gross, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Intestines are kind of creepy looking. I always think about those scenes in The Walking Dead where like the head's eating them.
Yeah. Right.
They use like rubbery looking stuff.
That's how I picture intestines. I wonder if that's how they really look. I mean, I remember from like some surgery shows, but is it just like
I am thinking like a rubbery kind of context of like just,
like umbilical cord style.
Because they're almost like perforated or something, right? Yeah.
No wonder why shit gets stuck in there.
Yeah, right. Ugh.
But I just, like I was telling Tom, I was like, how do they stuff that shit back in? Are they fucking stuff up? Like, his liver's supposed to be on the other side.
I'm just saying, I think the doctor winds them around their arm and then just shoves it in.
Right. And then there's the one doctor, actually, I used the parachute method.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Do you have to like pin them back in place or just kind of roll them up and
you just
stick them in? Like, yeah, that'll work. I would imagine they'd have to kind of go in a certain order for things to keep moving the right way.
See, on pictures, it looks like this. Like winds up. You see?
Yeah.
That terrible drawing?
Those of you that can't see because you're listening, just imagine.
It's a windy, like a river.
Yeah.
It's like life. It's like a river.
Yeah, well, I know like your large intestine goes on the outside and your small intestine's kind of inside.
See, and the way you always see is they just throw the shit back in there.
Right.
So do I got kinks?
Yeah.
That's what I wonder.
Well, you couldn't. Yeah, that's the thing. Like there's a therapy that we learned about when I was a special ed teacher. The physical therapist would come in and there was a kiddo that would have a lot of gas and she would do a certain massage on his abdomen to move things that right direction so that
I've seen, because you do that to babies.
Yeah. It's essentially just a little more technical. You get them on their
little feet and you get their little legs and push them against their tummy.
Yeah.
Or you like for me, or lay on your stomach.
And then they blast poop all over you. Super soaker poop. Babies are the worst with that. Ugh.
Dude, I remember I went to go check it was either Elena's diaper or JJ's. I can't remember. But I went to go like look, right? I didn't do like the poop was up to the top. So when I went, I was like, oh, well, I guess I got to change.
Yeah. So
I was fucking good at changing diapers.
Yeah. You get pretty good at it by the end.
Yeah. I never got peed on.
I don't think I did either. Elliot wasn't really one of those like
JJ, I don't know if JJ was either.
I mean, I always was good at leaving it there because I always heard about it, but I don't think he ever really did it. Or I was just like, good. Yeah.
I was quick. I
feel like it's more of like a funny like movie like, haha, the dad doesn't know how to change a diaper.
Of course. The dad doesn't know to do anything.
No, we're pretty
But I want a movie where the woman don't know how to do anything.
Right.
That a typical woman that you always think would do.
Well, you just read an article where a woman said, I wish I could choose my baby's daddy.
I saw this comment. This lady's like, I wish we could choose our baby's daddy. And then the guy comments back, someone tell her before I do. And I hurt her feelings or something. Yeah. That is funny. I wish we could. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could choose who the mother of my child was.
Right.
It's like, come
but
on.
unfortunately, I can't. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I have no control.
I can't choose who I marry.
Right.
I mean, in some cultures, you really can't choose who you marry.
That's true. I mean, sometimes it really is out of your control. But
maybe she was in one of those situations, but she just happens to be allowed on Facebook.
It's consequences. You have the kid. You chose that person. That's what you're doing. So,
and I bet you there's times where they're with that person and they know that that person's not a good. Yeah, maybe the sex is good, but like that's it. It ends
consequence
there.
Though is you could get pregnant, and if you get pregnant and you're not going to do
Don't be
anything else
shocked
about it, then you're going to deal with that person for the rest of their life.
Or you're not, because they are exactly who they, who you already thought they were.
You knew they were.
You already knew they were like a garbage person.
That's the behavior. You have to recognize that as a behavioral pattern that's not healthy or going to get you somewhere and alter that behavior.
That's all we're saying. That's how relationships are, really.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
In the end.
We're going to leave you with a question of the week. We're trying to keep with the question of the week.
Yeah.
Will we ever answer the question of the week?
That's up to you.
No.
You get to answer it.
Yeah. We're not going to answer it. No, we kind of answered the last one.
We give our thoughts.
So what was
So you brought up a great point.
You worded the question a lot nicer.
Do we hinder our kids by our own insecurities?
Say that one more time.
Do we hinder our kids with our own insecurities? So how often, if we're honest with ourselves, are there scenarios where we deny an experience for our kids to learn and grow because it's outside of our comfort zone?
So many. Like, what got me to think of this question is, it was just a meme. It's like your kid makes friends with someone at like the playground, and then the parents come to you, right? The parents start walking towards you to, maybe we'll make a play date and talk. But in your head, you're thinking, "Fuck no! Why are you walking towards me?" That's the thing. It was like, no. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you're insecure, or you're just not a people person. Like for like Tom or myself, like.
I'm great with people I know.
I'll avoid it if I can.
Right.
But, I'll talk to someone if I need to. But most of the time, I'm not going to go out of my way. And if they are coming up to me, I definitely am thinking, no, leave. Please don't come towards me.
Right. I mean, the one that glares at me, I am an idiot at sports. I never played sports. I have no idea about sports. So I'm never going to coach my kid's sports team.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make an idiot out of myself. If I were a great dad, like my dad was, I would learn the sport so I could coach it and be the coach. But I'm just not that great. My dad
I know the game of certain games, but I wouldn't coach.
Right.
Because I wouldn't want to.
I'm just going
to be honest, because I don't want to.
My son knows I love him very much.
Yeah, I would coach him individual.
Honestly, I love the coach he had. I much rather would have my son coached by his coach than
some people just make better coaches because a parent can be too hard.
Right.
Which is usually the case. The parents are overly like... Right.
You're compensating for yourself.
I know you're 8, but you're going to the NBA. Right. Stop thinking you're going to be a doctor.
Right.
You're going to be a basketball player.
Yeah.
You're going to be one of the best basketball players in the world.
That's a whole nother topic.
It is,
really. Parents that push too hard.
What is there? What did I hear? There's 400 NBA players in the league.
Right.
And you're thinking you're going to make it out of the world.
Right.
Because now the NBA is like the world.
Right. If there's somebody better in Japan, they're going to take somebody from Japan.
Oh, yeah. They won't.
If Vladimir Putin were better, they'd hire him.
Right? He'd be so short for the NBA. He's my height.
He would.
I'm too short for that. I'm 5'7".
Boy.
I'm not really 5'1".
No, it's true. Like you really, I don't know. I get having a kid very involved in things, but there's a point where it's like, what are you doing this for?
You're doing it for yourself, I think.
Some time to be a kid.
Well, I think a lot of times parents do that. They're living through their kid.
Vicariously through their kid, right. Exactly.
I wanted to use that word, but then I'm like, nah.
I'm not a dick.
I don't want to use the vicariously. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we do hinder our kids sometimes with our own security.
I for sure do. I just know myself. I try not to.
And it's not like we're bad parents. It's just it's one of those patterns of behavior that you just don't realize.
You don't feel up for something, And so you just say no.
Yeah. And then you're like, why is my kid an antisocial?
Why does my kid never want to play on a playground? Although Elliot has never wanted to play on a playground.
This is true.
It's like I've taken him to play at the playground.
JJ's the opposite. He always wants to.
Yeah.
He was like, let's go to Cascade and go play.
Elliot will literally ask me.
It's snowing. No.
Well, see, he would go with JJ, just the two of them.
Yeah.
But he will ask me, are there going to be other people there? I'm like, fair question. Let's find out. No, I don't say that. I do actually say, buddy, I hope there's other kids there because you need to play with people. But inside, I'm like, God, I really hope there's nobody else there.
There you go. Your own insecurity because you don't want to that interaction.
Yeah.
I'm there to just let my kid play.
I don't feel like I'm bad at interacting in those scenarios.
There's times I'll actually go and when the kids were younger, I'd actually run around the playground with them. Like,
and make other parents go, oh God, no.
Yeah, I was probably that guy. But like, I'm also, no. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, so think on that one, folks. Do you hinder your kid?
Do you?
Don't hinder your kid.
Yeah.
They're trying not to. I don't know.
I guess.
Or,
I don't know.
In the end.
That was good conversation.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I do too. Peg Leg coming for you tonight.
You
Check out the Shanty Shack.
Peg Leg next weekend live from the She Shanty. And,
the She Shanty. There you go. The Shanty Shack.
The Shanty Shack works too. She works there Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a fantastic week.
Yeah, well, yeah. Peg Leg, Peggy, come in.